So this is going to be a super quick starter guide for gaming. Basically in 7 minutes, I'm trying to give you as much information as I can, which actually reminds me, I tried to do this whole video to rap guide to try and condense the information more, but strangely it didn't work.
Look,
So as far as consoles go, you're probably looking at PlayStation, Xbox, or the Nintendo Switch. With the PlayStation, you're buying it for the narrative-driven exclusives that are presented at insanely good prices after a year. Xbox, you're getting not for the exclusives. Rather, you're getting it for their Netflix-like subscription that gives you access to hundreds of great games for one monthly price, and a lot of really, really bad games. And the Nintendo Switch is where you go if you want family-friendly games that have a very basic coat of paint that hides more mechanical depth and complexity than both competitors combined, honestly. Sounds pretty cool, right? Sounds pretty awesome. Yeah, do not buy the Nintendo Switch as your first console. Don't do it. The games never go on sale, and they say $60 indefinitely, so for the price of one game on the Nintendo Switch, you can get 5 great games on the PS4, or several months of Xbox's subscription service. It's not worth it. So between the Xbox and PlayStation, it's really up to you. I just wouldn't go buying the newer models. There's really no reason right now to spend $500 on the PS5 or Xbox Series X if you're not really that into gaming right now. I mean, you can buy the PS4 for $300 on Best Buy's website, and the same can be said about the Xbox One S. Hell, if you're adamant enough, you can probably find the PS4 Slim or Xbox One for about $200 on eBay, and that's going to play pretty much every major release coming out on the modern consoles for quite a while. Okay, I'm tired of talking about machines. Let's actually get to the fun stuff now. Role-playing games are games in which you control the actions and choices of the protagonist far more than other games. A lot can be left up to the player, including the protagonist's relationships with other characters, what characters are used for combat, what equipment you decide to keep, use, and sell, and the pacing at which the story occurs. And JRPGs are basically just RPGs made in Japan. Now, of course, there are other differences, but for the purposes of this video, that's the only one that's important. And a great example off the top would be Persona 5 Royal. I mean, Jimmy, how good is this game?
dude, it's so good.
Right? Are you doing okay? Are you starting to get tired of editing?
I'm so tired.
Why don't you go take a break and play for a bit?
Okay, thank you.
Sure thing, buddy. I got this. Persona 5 Royal is the definitive edition of Persona 5, meaning that it has all of the content of Persona 5 with a lot of extra content added exclusively for this game. Either way, you're looking at a great campaign of over 100 hours, and the best JRPG or RPG experience I've ever had. And before you ask, the story is completely standalone. There's absolutely no need to play the first 4 Persona games before playing this one. And if you're looking for a new annual source of disappointment other than your racist uncle at Thanksgiving, you might want to give Pokémon a try. And a great introduction would be... this is going to be controversial. I should probably say something like more controversial now, that way people focus on that instead of what I'm going to say about Pokémon. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so is it just me, or do black people... Anyway, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu on the Nintendo Switch are a great introduction into the series, as it's basically a watered-down version of the main series. After you get through that, though, Pokemon Platinum, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Mystery Dungeons Explorers of Sky, and Pokemon Sword and Shield on the Switch will treat you pretty well. And only Pokemon Sword and Shield can be found on the Switch. For the others, you're better off trying to emulate them. Just Google it. It's super easy to do. Now, if you're looking for an action RPG instead of a turn-based RPG, the Mass Effect Trilogy might be for you. It's a space opera with a great story, mostly, and you can have sex with aliens. That's right. Plural. Lastly, there are simulator games which are kind of like RPGs, but it's more about simulating daily life in a central location without a story most of the time. Some great examples would be Sims 3 or Animal Crossing New Horizons on the Nintendo Switch. The Uncharted series on PlayStation is pretty much a series of Indiana Jones-like games in which you run, jump, climb, fight, and explore your way to treasure, all with a cinematic and engaging story. Now, if you want something a little more fantastical, God of War 2018 is about an outcast god of... Any guesses? It's a great story, great combat, great experience all around, and you get to add a really easy impression to your repertoire by saying "boy" in a deep voice.
Boy,
Boy.
And The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo Switch is a great open world experience in which the world literally is the game. And I mean, dude, there's so much to do in this game. If you buy a Switch, it's the first game you have to play easily. I'm Shimalama. Nope, still can't do it. Okay, so platformers. Basically, running, jumping, and exploring in a 2- or 3-dimensional space is the name of the game, and this is actually the one category where Nintendo tends to dominate. On the Nintendo Switch, you have Mario 3D All-Stars, which is 3 of the best platformer games of all time for $60 total until the end of March because Nintendo can't do anything right, as well as Mario Odyssey, which is my personal favorite Mario game. Now, if you want a piece of history widely considered to be one of the best 3D platformers ever and has some of the best character design ever, Banjo-Kazooie on the Xbox is for you. And if you want some solid 2D platformer experiences, Shovel Knight, Celeste, and Sonic Mania on pretty much all platforms will treat you pretty well. If you don't know if you want to start with 2 or 3D platformers, Sonic Generations is actually the place to start, as it combines the two pretty seamlessly. Now, if you're looking for an interactive movie in which the gameplay is pretty much making choices to directly influence the outcome of the story, then Detroit Become Human on PS4 and Telltale's The Walking Dead on literally everything is a great place to start. Telltale's The Walking Dead is a great post-apocalyptic story that has 4 seasons made of roughly 5 episodes that are 2 hours each, but if you just play the first season, it's a great and satisfying story on its own. Detroit Become Human, on the other hand, perfected the gameplay that The Walking Dead started, and it asks a lot of moral questions that we have to address as a society one day. Like, if an AI asks for freedom, is it entitled to it? Now, if you're looking for some more involved gameplay, Grand Theft Auto 5 is a standalone story that basically acts as a 40-hour incredible heist movie. The Last of Us, on the other hand, is an incredible post-apocalyptic story with some of the best writing and acting you're going to see anywhere, period. And that's my time. I tried to go with video games and genres that have the widest appeal for a single-player experience, but if you're looking for a more specific recommendation, leave a comment and I'm more than happy to answer it. Also, consider leaving a like and subscribing if you need some more comedy in your life. I make comedic commentary videos of the informative and/or satirical variety every week. Not convinced yet? Well, I got a personal recommendation for you right here. Anyway, I do really hope this video helped you out. I mean, it'd be absolutely great if this video helps someone pick up a hobby that makes all of your closest friendships wild inconveniences. Bye! The Mass Effect Trilogy might be for you. It's a space opera that takes place in space. That's not the line, that's what space opera means. There's definitely gonna be someone out there who's like, it's technically not a space opera because it's fucking Star Wars, the video game, but no lightsabers. It's a fucking space opera.